It's just gone past 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It's 24 degrees. And for those in the States, it's 75 degrees Fahrenheit. Beautiful sunny day.
33
and
here.
yes, very nice, Tim. So we got a great hour ahead. And I'll just let Shreya and Grace from the specialist to give us a little bit of a rundown of the housekeeping. Okay, thanks, guys.
Thank you, Mario. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Shreya, and I'm from the FCSI APD Secretariat office, along with Grace, and we are going to be serving as your moderators for today's meeting. To begin with, I'll just take you through some housekeeping rules. We request everyone to be on mute, if possible, just so that we reduce the background noise and improve the overall meeting quality. If possible, please have your camera turned on for the webinar to make it interactive. Your mute and video button, you can access that via the control panel. Please note that the meeting will be recorded. During the meeting, you have opportunities to ask questions. We want to make this very interactive, so please do so by putting your questions in the chat box and pressing enter. We will be able to moderate and see that you have a question to ask. I'll now pass over to the chair of the board, Mario Sequeira, please.
Hey, Mario.
Mario's muted himself. He's saying words of wonder.
Well, there you go. Sorry. Thank you. I listened to her intently and I put mine on mute. I forgot to unmute it. Thanks, Shreya. Okay, guys. So you've got three cracking men there on the screen. You all know them. Those who joined the first session that we had in November last year, very successful one. I'm joined by my very trusted treasurer, Andrew Brain, and of course our Glenn Flood, who's our host and guiding us through this whole session today. So welcome, guys, and I'll now hand over to Glenn. Thank you.
Excellent.
Thanks, Mario.
Thanks, Mario. Team, great to see you all again. As Mario said, my name's Glenn Flood. I'm a chef, and the reason that Andrew and Mario have brought me on board here is just to bring another perspective into our meetings and insights. So I love facilitation and I love working with teams. So this is, what I like to do day to day. You'll be hearing from me a little bit as we go forward, but this is really all about you today. Support for our members. We want to hear from you. We want you to engage, use the chat function, take lots of notes. And this is about bringing us tighter as a membership unit. So contribute as you feel. And in this kind of session, the more you contribute, the more you get back. So please keep that in mind. As a high level, where are we going today? We're going to hear a little bit more from Mario around our core topic today, which is all about support. Then we're going to break out into a couple of rooms. We're going to have 3 workshop discussions around development and things that we want to hear from you, some insights. We'll come back together, Andrew, Mario, and myself, and we'll collate those thoughts. Then we've got a new program that we're going to introduce, something I don't know if it's been discussed mainstream, but Andrew and Mario have definitely been spending a lot of time thinking about it, and we think it's pretty excellent. So we're going to share that with you and get some feedback. Then we're going to talk a little bit more around the room about our combined expertise and who's who in the zoo. So we're starting to understand our membership and who we might have access to, because it's the nature of being a member here is to actually tap into this mastermind group and really know who can I call on or what could I ask them that can help me in my business or my practice to better serve clients and customers. So we'll think about that and then we'll wrap it all down. So there's our fast and furious hour. Keep smiling, keep those cameras on. We do definitely want to see and hear from you as we go forward. And now Mario is going to tell us in a little bit more detail the topic of today's session.
Very good. Thank you, Glenn. We've been through a challenging 12 months all around the world. People in different areas and different degrees of impact that the COVID's had on them. I think there's a few things that it's taught us, and a couple that come to mind is resilience, that we build our resilience during these challenging times, unforeseen times, and set ourselves up for the future. the other thing is, to be grateful for what we have, and especially when we look around the world and the way people in Europe and America are doing it so tough, that we realize. And then when we look at our own association and the buddies that we drew through the association is something, again, that we realize and are grateful for. And the last thing that I want to touch on is what we, at our last webinar that we had was about share. It was our first FCSI vision about sharing. Today is about support. It's very interesting during that sharing when everyone really opened up and shared, and we found that webinar was really good, again, facilitated by Glenn. And the key things that came out from there were what were quite interesting. It was about personal and professional development, about collaborating, about working with each other, and the strength in doing those, in following those type of initiatives. Because we've all been on webinars and had technical, academic stuff. We've seen around the world people going crazy on Bitcoin and getting rich and looking at the share markets and then having their ups and downs. And then it brings us back to reality and looking at the feedback from the last webinar and even what you gave us for this one is people are really looking for, by way of support, to see how we can support each other, how we can, face this challenge together and make the best of this association of being the FCSI. Thank you.
Okay.
Very good. So, team, and Mario, thanks for opening that up for us. As you said there, is it the year of resilience? We're all running through the roller coaster of COVID in different ways, shapes, and form. And I think definitely here in Australia, we feel quite blessed that it's it's just riffing around. It hasn't been too mainstream, but definitely our hearts and our thoughts go out to the global membership. And how that's impacting just your normal day to day, whether it be access to loved ones or, from a financial point of view and following things up with clients. So we're hypersensitive to this at the moment. And that's why the topic of support we felt was really important, because while we can't focus on things we can't control, what we can do is think about what are some better ways to connect up and better ways to support each other digitally in this current moment. So what we're going to do now is break out into a couple of workshop groups, and we've just got a couple of questions for you to answer and to go off your microphone and chat through. We want to know, what does good professional and personal development look like for you in your business? So please just share as you feel, contribute to the conversation. We want to hear from everyone. We're going to roll for about 10 minutes here. And Mario, Andrew, and I will be in each of the rooms, and then we'll come back and sort of circle back over the high level themes. And the reason for this is that we really want to understand from your point of view, what would you like to see more of? What's going to really help you in terms of tools to succeed in business? But also the personal side of it is that, is it about more leadership training? Is it about, different upskilling or different professional courses that you can do? Just really think about it and share that with us now. So when we're ready, Shreya, Grace, please send us across.
Sure, I'll just open the breakout rooms now.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, John.
Hi, Grace. I was in meeting room number 3. How do I get back there? I accidentally closed it.
The meeting room's actually closing in 19 seconds now.
Oh, okay.
Did you? Yeah, they're all going to come back.
Oh, okay. So I was talking and then I closed myself out. It popped up and then I just closed it without reading it.
Right.
Okay, I'll have to say apologies to Mario.
He'll understand.
Yeah. Okay. So good afternoon, ladies. I joined a bit late, so I was just anyway. Well, I'm first in waiting, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's totally fine.
Okay.
Oh, are we in another group?
No, Anna, you're back to the main room now.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Can you see me now? No, still not.
No, Anna.
I changed to my phone. I thought that might help, but obviously it has. Good grief. I don't know how to change this. No. All right, I'll just stay on my phone.
Okay.
And I'll shut up.
Hello, Courtney. You're muted yourself.
Lots of great conversation there. And for those of you, if you just chimed in, we were just having some robust conversation around professional development. Like, what does good look like? What opportunities may come or, are floating around that we can identify? And where we've got, I'm just checking, we've got Mario back in the room.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. There we go. Very good. I'm looking at my beautiful Brady Bunch screen there. Lots of good smiles going on. And so Andrew, we might just go a couple of minutes between each room, right? So Andrew, what was the, I don't know, some underlying theme or what came out of your discussion?
Yeah, it was, well, I hesitate to say it was slow to start, but I think in the end, the guys really, really contributed. I thought it was really valuable and constructive. In the end, I think we got to the point where you could compare and say, rather than what does good development look like, it's personal and professional is becoming closer and closer because of people having to work from home. Issues of trust were raised. Internal company structure, starting with goal setting and planning. And focus on communication so that where there's internal communications, not making the mistake of falsely being understood, so because everything, rather than being face-to-face, Wayne brought up, there's the La Talk Blanche in Melbourne was absolutely packed because people in Melbourne had come out of lockdown and they were just desperate to be able to talk face-to-face and go out and socialise. So in a nutshell, it was a lot of different subjects, but internally, I think that professional development was about taking charge of communication and understanding that, not so much for people in Perth, but where you are involved in lockdown, whether it's Singapore, Melbourne, and these areas, it was challenging. And as Brian from Perth said, you get online with somebody from Melbourne or in a town that's in lockdown, and there's a distinct demeanour about the person. So it's quite challenging.
And you mentioned a point there around trust. What was the context of that there? Is that trust amongst us as members or knowing who you can rely on?
Yeah, I think it was that came from Larry, and he's in Queensland, and for him, it's running the business and then as an association, being able to trust other members like ourselves. And it only comes with experience. But once betrayed, he said, you'll probably never get it back.
Yeah.
Especially under the circumstances that we're in at the moment.
And good point there, Larry. That comes from, I mentioned earlier around teams, right? Now we are all in some realms competitors. Right, in some way, shape, and form, and it was shared in our group that different people join FCSI for different reasons. Personally, but maybe there's something around our professional standards and integrity that when we share or we call on a member of the group, it's a conversation we're having to better our overall profession, not to get a one-upmanship against another specific member. And that can be letting go of ego, can absolutely be trust, increased communication, and good teams work on this ongoing all the time. So yeah, and that connection there, Andrew, face to face, it's the best way to build rapport. But forced with the online communications that we have, we're forced in an innovative space, and I think there's a lot to be gained from that as well. So Andrew, thank you very much for you and your team. Mario, what about your group? What was the conversation like there?
Very interesting what Andrew shared, because thanks to all the guys in the team, everyone who almost shared, it was quite interesting. While they were trying to say, oh, is this personal or professional? The lines were so blurred, it was almost falling into both the categories, so that again gives us the realization that they're not, those two aspects of our life are not mutually exclusive. They are very much interlinked with each other. And I think in a nutshell, in the core of what was discussed, I think that the main thing was, as you said, the time management and efficiency of working and the blurred lines. So when you're at home, you start off at a certain time of the day and you keep going, and then you think, okay, listen, is that I clock off time, and you think, oh, I just want to finish this, but you're at home, and then you've taken your break in between and whatever else it is. So those lines are getting blurred. And so the so-called thing also, I think, which we call work-life balance, is taking a whole new different meaning now in our lives. So the key things that came out of our group was about time management, and about wanting to be more efficient. I won't take the name of the person, but this person, he's smiling now. He was saying, like, he wants to be efficient because he does things around the house and he stuffs it up and he's got to do it again, and it really annoys him. He wants to, and at work he does something, he's got to do it again, and then, oh, that's really annoying. And I said, mate, don't worry. You learn from your mistakes and you get better. So you're going to look at it that way. And so it was, yeah. So in a nutshell, it was about communication, about efficiency, and Bill also touched on an important thing from a professional development point of view, is that what the last 12 months has taught us, that technology and the availability of data and the use of data and the use of technology was already important before COVID. After COVID, it's like, it's non-negotiable. It's just something all of us have to get with. And to get with technology and this, because if we don't get with it, we're going to fall behind. And and then again, it comes back to the balance of how much of technology or how much of social media that we get connected with, and how much of other me time or other time we have with our family and personal time. So
yeah, some really great points there, Mario. I love what the group commented around the blurred lines. Because what is work and what is not work when I'm working at home? It can be really fine. And as a professional, especially if you're running your own business, how do you put that mentally down so that you're recharging to bring back your A game onto your clients? So there's that fatigue there that Andrew just mentioned in the chat box, 100%. So being conscious of it, is phase one, or being aware and having that conversation, but then also working out, well, what are some tools and strategies that we can put in place individually or for our business to make sure that we're evolving and we're doing the best we can for the longer term. For the group that I was with, and Tim coined us, he said, Glenn, you're in with the old farts. And I said, well, hang on a second. I think I was in a room with a lot of experience. And the conversation very naturally just went straight into, we have so much knowledge to share and we want to share it. Greg talked about digital training and sort of this amplification of COVID, and how we've been forced to access all these online tools, maybe faster than we would have had to, and adopt them in our business. And I think that's a really good takeaway point. And also he talked about a cadet program that got up and running. That's, in my mind, a bit like an apprenticeship, where you're looking at what are the disciplines to learn, what's the structure behind it, and really grooming young people into industry in different way, shape or form. the overall conversation as well, and Anna had touched on this, and Wasco as well, have very much opened it up, is around mentoring. How can we, as in, if I'm in a more developed life cycle of my business, and I've got all this knowledge, 40 plus years I'm sitting on, well, what is the portal to allow that or share that with other younger members? I know for me personally, it's there's only one way to get experience, and that's by living it. And I make mistakes and fail all the time. That's how I succeed. But there'd be many times where I would just love personally not to have gone through all that failure, and maybe learned from someone else that has said, hey, that's the wrong path. This is the path I recommend. Then I'm feeling more empowered, more connected. And we believe there in this organization, we actually have that depth of insight to call on. It's just, what does that structure look like, and how can it be managed or governed or opened up so that we know we trust each other to have a conversation? Is it a one-on-one or as a small group? And how can that be facilitated maybe as a panel? And then another key point that Anna touched on there was around knowing who to call on. So if I've been a member for a long period of time and, over 10, 12 years, I know who has a discipline and who I can call on for that. That's great. But right now, maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm sitting there going, you know what, if I knew what Joel knows, or if I knew what Tim knew, or Brendan, I'd be better. But can I call them? Is that okay? Do I need permission to do so? And how does that sort of clip together for us? The last point that Francis shared with us was that different people join the organization for different reasons, and to sort of know, what are those reasons? Because we all cross over at different times, and that's important. But maybe some form of mind mapping or Venn diagram to know who are those sort of clusters of individuals that we need to connect, those little mastermind groups within the FCSI that we can call on for a specific problem. Could just be a 2-minute phone call or a very quick email, but do we give ourselves permission to do that? So that was, a lot of, I think, really good, insightful conversation out of that 10-minute session there.
Excellent.
So Mario, Andrew, I think that's maybe a really prudent segue just to send back over to you both and ask you the question. Something that I know you've been really excited about and talking about is an FCSI buddy program. So can you, Andrew, what is a program?
Well, I think if I can pick up from where you just left off, where the opportunities that we all have, we may not be completely aware are there and available. So as you said, if Anna doesn't know who to call, or if she's got an issue, how do you actually find out how to solve that problem? Being a member of the association here and considering that we should have a database of knowledge and support, how do we then tap into that? And like you said, do we have permission to tap into that? You've also got the other side of the coin, where the person who potentially has the knowledge, at what point are they prepared to share it? Like Larry's got a lot of really good intellectual property, but I wouldn't expect to be able to take that from him, because that's what his business is based around. We could work together and in a partnership, but again, it's one of those things where he needs to be able to trust me before I can then work with my client using him as a resource, without him concerned that I'm going to steal all of his IP. So this sort of thing can become better as a buddy system, where if I've got a concern, I can then call on Mario. Mario, can you help me out here? I know you've dealt specifically, say, with liquor licensing. I've got a client who's asking me these questions and I'm not 100% sure about how to answer. Or Vasco, I've got a hotel, and what do you think I should do here, and how should I split up this this facility? I know I can call Vasco, but Anna knows she could call Vasco, but maybe Larry might not think, okay, I've got a project and I can call on Vasco to help influence some of those little nuances that I need just to be clarified, to have the confidence to go back to my client.
No, some really good conversation there, Andrew. And Mario, tell me, a buddy program, is this something that you think would have been valuable earlier in your business journey?
Absolutely, absolutely. As we've, as it's come out from all the groups, and that's a common theme and the common thread in there, isn't it? And from our previous webinar as well, is that it's saying we've got this, we've got the experience, we know what it is, and also now realizing the closeness between personal and professional, development. And that's why Andrew and myself, we were thinking of this whole buddy, the buddy program, purely, and we said we got to start somewhere, because what happens is, I'm one of those ones, I don't like to go into a meeting or seminar and talk a lot, and then at the end of it, nothing comes of it. I said, oh, it just felt good at the time. But I'm one of those ones, I like to see that there's something actually comes out of it. And that's why, to all that are there, it was an idea between Andrew and myself, is to embark on this buddy program and make it, take it to that next level, in the sense that make it personal, and then it will grow. It's like a, have it between two individuals, that we can, share stuff. It'll come in the next screen, that we can share stuff with each other. And then, as we talk about building that trust between the two, and as we meet the next time, or the, couple of the groups can actually form another subgroup, and you from another group, and but it starts with two, so that it's actually tangible and something that you can actually work with. Now, is Vasco putting his hand up to speak, or is he just exercising his wrist? He speak, yeah. Good on you, Vasco. Please do. Yeah.
Mario, I think one of the points that Andrew touched on, and this is a commercial problem that we have in FCSI, as in every group, that the majority of the people involved are competitors, right? But there are still a number of us who are now either not competitors or highly unlikely competitors that have a lot of knowledge. And if it starts there, then the chances are it will be able to percolate down a lot easier. You've got a unique skill with licensing. So when people ask you a question, you're not usually competing with them on that field. But if they were talking to you about kitchen design, and they're a kitchen designer, you think to yourself, well, why should I be helping my direct competitor? But I think if people like myself and Tim, who are the obvious ones at the moment, there are probably others in the management field, Tony Clark, those sort of people at that level who are retired or close to retired, or just doing enough because they feel that if they don't, they won't be any worth to society. But I think we're all happy to start that process, and then once people get comfortable in using that process, I think it will percolate down.
No, that's very valuable, Oscar. Thank you so much for sharing. Yes, I think King Stankster is also in that same thing, where he's is there, and if it's available, if required, or whatever. No, but that's very, very good. And again, I can speak for myself. That personally, myself, I feel very comfortable. I know that was in the legacy from previously about about the sharing and all, but I think as time goes on and technology goes on, and there's so much work out there, that fortunately we are now in that position. I think I, like Andrew and myself, we can speak for ourselves. We just really can talk to each other about our projects, what we're doing, what we and he leans on me for something in Perth, I help lean on him for something in Melbourne, and so that those things are breaking down. But you're right. We've got great resources in Tim, yourself, and others that are available if we need to. So that's very good. Thank you for sharing that, Vasco. That's,
I think Tim's got something to add, and whilst if it's okay, Tim, you'll just unmute and then contribute. Whilst Tim's chatting, can I just get a bit of a consensus from the group in the chat room? Just sort of chat through, like, especially with some of our younger members, is that something you are interested in? Yes or no? Like, just no right or wrong. Let's just hit the chat room and converse about this whilst Tim's sharing a few words.
you just need to unmute, Tim.
You're still on mute, Tim. So I can see your lips moving there. I can't interpret for you. Just hit your little microphone there. It should be down the bottom on the left.
Maybe you need to press F8 if your computer is on mute as well.
Yeah, Tim, you're still on mute for us. So Tim might need some assistance with some how to be an expert on Zoom. And I'm sure one of our members can help him with that as well. All these things. Sorry, Tim, we can't. We were having a great conversation just before, but I can't hear you right now.
Is that something that maybe Shreya or Grace could unmute him from their end?
No, I'm trying.
I've actually requested Tim to unmute himself. Oh, there we
There it
go.
is.
Oh, yeah.
I'm here. Every time I try and do something, my entire Zoom disappears and I have to rejoin the meeting. Anyway, I think we're all talking about mentoring as if you're sharing sort of technical secrets. I think mentoring is more a case of going to somebody you know that you can say to them, what do you think? I have a problem with a client and he's not listening to me. What do you think? How can I approach him? It's these sort of things that experience can offer to younger people. You know, it's how to deal with recalcitrant builders. I mean, it's all these sort of issues which can be, that we can help with because we've all been there. And so it's more almost lifestyle or food service lifestyle issues, not technical issues of how do I design a kitchen. Yes, you might have a few things like that where we've got I've got a this solution or that solution, and the client doesn't like either of them, or the client is liking the wrong one. How can I approach it? It's these sort of questions that you need to be able to offer to younger guys who being intimidated by a client or a builder, or they're being confused by a number of solutions that they're faced with. You know, they're coming to you with a what do you think type question. And I think there's likely to be more of those than there are somebody expecting you to solve a design problem for them. That's my thought.
Yeah,
Very good, Tim.
I agree with Tim. I think there will be rare times where you, as my mentor, Don McCartney, said to me, you know, you have to find a way of fitting a pint into a quart pot. And that's the time where experience can help. But most of the other time, it's more dealing with just difficult situations that are brought about by site or people.
Yeah. Yep. So, and I guess then you need to, whoever it is needs to know who can they go to chat about this, who has the sort of skills. So that's where FCSI comes in, buddy program, which I think is a terrific idea. It's those of us who are prepared to be buddies need to be listed with the sort of skills that we can offer. Experience, not so much skills, it's experience we're talking about. We've all got skills. Yeah, it's mainly experience that can be tapped into.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Tim, that's really good. I'm reading the chat room roll through here, and Wayne, great comment there. Like, you know, hearing from people such as Joel and Courtney, just on their thoughts. So what I'm sensing from the group here, we've got some senior members with a depth of experience, really happy and willing to share. And it's just really, I guess, from a younger person perspective is, you know, you're busy, you're juggling a lot, but you know, knowing is the trust there to be able to reach out and have that conversation, to know that your best interests are being looked after, and you know, is that important for you?
You don't have to believe what they say. All it is a vehicle for bouncing ideas. It's getting a second opinion. It's all these sort of things which a buddy can do.
Another perspective is also is always very handy.
Yeah.
You know, especially when you're not sure which way to proceed. There's many options, and ultimately, you know, you'll make your own decision. But being able to tap into the knowledge in this room, I think, is really beneficial.
Yeah. And also, of course, often it's, where can I find one of these? I know what I want, but I need a connection to an allied member or whoever, and so on. So it's those sort of pieces of experience.
Yeah, yeah, and great contribution there, Courtney. Thanks very much. You know,
Oh, I've gone again. Shit.
Yeah.
Mentoring being something that is very valuable for your professional experience. That's great. Having a neutral ear to discuss is really good too. So, you know, I think as a member, you get the chance to sort of think, am I conflicting here, or am I reaching someone that's sort of, you know, like cross spectrum within the organization that I know is not going to be a competitor in this environment. And you always, you know, if you're okay, you've just got to ask the question. That's sort of phase one. So the feedback here, Andrew, Mario, I'm hearing from the group is all quite positive around this buddy program. Is that what you were hoping when we were just wanted to share this today?
Yeah, I think this is all good feedback. And Larry, you put your hand up. Did you want to say something?
Yeah. Again, I mentioned it in our own team meeting where I talked about trust being the stumbling block. What I'm finding as we start putting faces to names, right, and we start getting those personal connections, I think the trust could naturally flow, and that's going to be very much encouraging people to share information, right, and help each other.
True.
It's the professional has to become more personal. Without a personal interaction comes trust.
Yeah, I think you're spot on, mate. Sometimes a phone call from, even if it is a competitor that has no agenda, just to say, "G'day, how you going?" can eliminate any caution or unnecessary animosity. And then you go, okay, we can talk about fishing. We talk about riding your bike, whatever. And then that way you got a connection. It means when you actually ask for something in the future, you're building a relationship on more than just what can I get out of it. And the point of a buddy system isn't necessarily just what can I get from you, it's what can I give you. It's a two-way street. That's for everybody.
Well, what I'm seeing with these seminars is we're actually starting to build an industry for consultants. We're not individuals out there on our own all the time. And that's been a problem for many years.
You're correct.
I would agree with that because as a member, an allied member, obviously, that I would, without COVID, I don't know that I would get access and get the opportunity to speak to and see these people across the country that I may not otherwise. I think it's from that perspective, the crisis has made things a little bit different for us, from my perspective anyway, because it allows me to put a face to something. I've got to know a number of you people a lot better. And even from a competitive point of view, some people just forget it's just business. And that's what they've got to remember, is there's a big separation.
Well, like you say, Wayne, it's not just consultants here that are competitors. We've got allied members, and while we appreciate your support, you are obviously competitors with other allied members. And in this forum, you're all equal. Equal to us as consultants, and from our perspective, it gives us a point of contact with you.
Right. So, can I just say, guys, I think, you know, we've had some good conversations, and I think what we need to crystallize is there's two things, Glenn, from what you were talking about the buddy system. What I'm hearing is that there is the bigger picture stuff, which we realize is not the big picture anymore. We're all part of it. very much part of that fabric, and we all want to continue contribute to that fabric. We feel really connected now through these video sessions, and we want to take it to the next step. So I think Julian just put out in the chat what I was thinking is that we potentially, for this bigger picture stuff, we've got people who put in there and say what their areas of expertise are or whatever. So we'll try and build a little, family tree of, that we're all in it together. And in that family tree, see, the likes of Ashko and Tim, helping in mentoring and, as they say, sharing their experience. And if it's okay with them, we can put their contact details there. And then we can put some others from, on the different fields, whether it's the scope guys on refrigeration or, Wayne from the hot holding, the new stuff that they're coming out with. So we create that little thing there, and then people just keep contributing. And if they want to add or drop out of that big family tree, we have that as one initiative. But I think what we want to get out of today's webinar is the second initiative, which is actually more tangible, which we can do from today or from next week, is where we can, from the group here, try and buddy up 2 people together to then connect with each other. And I'll let Glenn explain how that would work.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Mario. So really pleased to hear collectively that we're on board. And just real quickly, if you think a buddy system's a good idea and you get some benefit from it, whether you're giving knowledge or receiving knowledge, just quickly, just pop your hand up like that. If you got your camera on, just show me there. Great. So my little screen there. Yeah, all good. Nice. Excellent. Thank you. So we've got a kind of a group consensus there, and trust being a really, really important part there to build this symbiotic relationship, right? There's a duty of care and a showing of empathy amongst each other as members, as professionals, that ultimately will build our connection. And being the topic for today is all about support, it is really supportive and beneficial for you. How we're going to go about this is we thought we'd maybe give you some tools to sort of work with. And just if we call this sort of the draft or the pilot program, is Mario and Andrew have sat down with their thoughts on who's and done a bit of a draft on that family tree on who might buddy up well and be able to cross-pollinate ideas. So we're going to share that out with you after the meeting, and we're going to put a small expectation in. And the expectation is really simple, is prior to the next FCSI meeting, we're asking all members to please have connected with your buddy 3 times, whether that's a text, email, Facebook, WhatsApp, send a meme, we don't really care. Just 3 contact points, just to say, hey, might be a deeper conversation, might be something a little bit more integral. So asking some really good questions. And Grace, if you just jump to that next slide for me, we've put together 11 awesome questions that if you're really not sure what to do, just read the 1 or 2 of these questions out and just listen to the answer, right? There's a great one in there. What's your most epic fail? There's a lot to be learned from that. Can you just share that with? So that's, this slide deck will come out after the meeting. So is everyone okay with that? Just give me a little nod of your head if you're okay with the instruction that I've passed across. Thumbs up from Bill. Great. There we go. Mildred, just not sure. You're just giving me a little, yeah, the look there. Nope. See your eyes smiling. Good.
What happens if you didn't fail?
Yeah.
No failure.
Awesome. Great. So that's.
And they would call you Trump. They would call you Trump if you said you never failed.
I'm sure there's something you can talk about. So there's the thinking we've done for you. We've set an expectation. We're not going to beat down your door, but we just know you can do this because you're on board and it's great for your development. So we're really happy with all the feedback from that conversation. So lovely.
Can I also say, Glenn, there's more members out there that are not in this webinar. And if we know of an FCSI member that it hasn't attended, doesn't mean they're not included in the list. So there's There's obviously other people. They may not have had a chance to log in. Like there's obviously at least another half a dozen consultant members and maybe 20 or 30 allied members. There's also opportunities to connect there. We won't necessarily have that covered off today, but we want to expand this and not just have the same group meeting all the time.
Like we said, Andrew, this is a bit of a draft, a prototype, a pilot program, and we put it out there, and it'll be owned and driven by the members. We're just helping set up the framework, and we're pushing it out there to you so you can adopt it and run with, and we will fine tune as we go along, because we believe this is going to be a game changer for our industry. So we're really excited by it.
I hope it stimulates, like Larry's saying, more connectivity.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Andrew, as you said, it's a pilot thing. We were 21, whatever. So, you got 10 pairs that we pair up. Tim's asking, how do you find a buddy? Don't worry, we'll find you one, Tim. I'm sure we'll find you one friend of the whole group. I'm joking, but
easy. Everyone wants to be your friend, Tim.
Everybody wants to be your friend, Tim.
That'll be.
No, we will send you your buddy who we've picked, and we will keep in mind, the different the experience and where you are in your business, and try and buddy up someone that could actually you could learn from each other. I'm sure we can still learn from Joel and Courtney, the young ones. You know what I mean? Definitely. So we'll do that and have people of different things. So Tim, you'll find out about your buddy very soon, if not later today, by Monday.
Fantastic.
It's a great list of questions. It really is.
Yeah.
Good list. All right. Have a bit of fun with it. Don't take it too seriously. Just relax. Be great. So team, our last kind of little segment that we're going in today, and we really appreciate your contribution and conversation and energy, is around collective intelligence. So this is something I work with a lot of groups on, and it's really just understanding our think tank and our overall sort of mastermind group. So Grace, if you can just flick through the slide for me there, that'd be perfect. Excellent. This is Andrew, just a little, caricature of Andrew there smiling away with having a few thoughts.
I thought it was Bob Hawke.
The reason why this is important is because, if you really want to advance yourself in your career, then it's about standing on the shoulders of those that have come before you. And if you're at a stage in your career where you've got so much experience there, like even sharing that on, the teacher always learns the most. So you see things from another perspective or another angle. And as we know through this COVID era, is the world is shifting and ebbing and flowing, and we're in a state of flux that we've never been before. And we don't know how that's going to resettle. All we know is that we've just got to keep rolling forward, because that's what we do. The world moves on, opportunities come and go, and we want to capitalize on the best ones we can. From the information that you shared when you registered, I've just asked a couple of simple questions around, what do you like to do? What is your area of expertise? And then combined experience. And what I'm really energized by is in this collective we have just right here today, there is 794 years of combined industry experience.
Oh.
794 years. That's more than Yoda, right? And he's pretty good at what he does. If you're a Star Wars fan, you'll know what I'm talking about. So it's really up to you. It's here in the room, and it's up to you to ask the question of those around you. So the nature of today in being supportive of one another is to unlock the doors, but you still need to step through yourself. That's the important part, right? Take some ownership on it. So with those details, what we're going to do here now is just a little fun exercise there. The next slide, if it's okay, Grace, is we're going to do a rip around the room. I like to think of this as a bit of a speed dating. Okay, if you're, one of the cool members, Tim will know what I'm talking about with the, swipe left, swipe right. If you're on Tinder or so forth, okay, it's kind of like that. So we really want to hear from you. About 30, 40 seconds each. Okay, you don't need to talk too fast. But what we want to know is we're just putting names and faces together. Okay, so we've got the next slide coming up, and we're going to start off with anyone in particular, Andrew. And so when you see yourself up on the slide, boom, you don't need to tell us the information that's there, but you can if you want. But more interested in just something interesting and a little bit random about yourself. Maybe something you like to do in your downtime, a hobby you have, something bizarre that happened this week. No right or wrong. And if you're not comfortable doing that, just read from the slide in front. Again, we're not so concerned about it, but it's really lovely to pair up the photo that we have. I'll hear a little bit from you so that we can all think and we can all connect in this fine planet. So if it's okay, we're going to start our speed dating, right? I'll try and keep things moving forward, all right? Andrew, we'll start with you. Let's roll on.
I would have said, you know, what's unique about me and what I can bring. 10 years ago, I would have said youth, but it's changed a little bit. But I'd say, look, the things that drive me and I'm passionate about are 3D VR, virtual reality, and learning more and more about it.
Awesome. That's warping my mind. I want to talk to you more about that there. As we go along, Anna, I know we can't see you, but we can definitely hear from you. Are you going to share with us if it's okay?
Yep, sure. Actually, that photo was taken on my way to uni in Geelong, so on the train. So doing architecture, so that was my background. I work at MTD and FCA with Andrew and Julian and Joel and Courtney. What else did you want me to say?
Oh, well, what you were Geelong uni at Geelong? How was the uni experience for you? Did you love going down to Geelong?
I did enjoy going to Geelong until I went back after probably 10 years later to finish my degree, and very disappointed in the uni system. But anyway, that's another story.
Sounds like some good learning.
And I've been trying this whole time to get my camera working. I have no idea how to get it working.
Hey, there's a member here that can help you with your camera. I'm sure they'll be able to take it offline and follow up. All right.
Yep, good.
I was going to say that.
Yeah, anyway, I've broken my arm recently, so yeah, anyway, so you don't need to see me in a sling and bandage. But anyway.
That's no good. Hope you're mending well. And team, as we're going through, just listening from each of our members, feel free to comment in the chat room as it goes along. We've got a live stream going there. Ben, thanks for jumping on camera. Let's hear from Ben.
Hi everyone. I think it's the first time I'm speaking to everyone. In case you are not aware, Miss Mildred Famiro is also my partner. So we are running a brand new consultancy firm. We just passed our first year, and yeah, great time to set up a company, right, during COVID. So, but yeah, thankfully we've been doing quite okay. I come from Singapore. Mildred is in the Philippines, and looking forward to learning from everyone. I can see on the screen, everyone's from Australia. I love Australia.
I love Singapore.
Me too. I love Singapore, exactly.
Looking forward to seeing everyone soon, though. Really.
Yeah, that's great. And Ben, thank you. And well done on starting a business right now, mate. That is Resilience Plus. You will nail this, and everything will seem easy moving forward, I'm sure.
Seems like the story of my life. Everything I start always comes on a downturn. Yeah, but I'm still standing today. So yeah, looking forward to really learning from everyone else.
Excellent, thank you. And
thank you.
Anto, I don't think he's on with us right now, so we can move forward. Yeah, excellent. Great. So Bill? Where are we? Maybe Bill.
Just unmute myself. Hi, good afternoon, everybody. This is also my first time to be talking to the FCSI team. So I'm really learning from all of you. Basically, I'm a food scientist, food technologist by background. I'm probably in the group where there's a lot of experience. So my age is I'm getting up there. You know, you say when you get older, you get more experience, but there's a word I learned the other day is as you age, you gain mileage. So someone who's 30 years old doesn't have much mileage. When you get to my age, you have quite a bit of mileage, which means you can share a lot of information. I'm very passionate about helping customers. Our business is around certifying equipment, services, and products into the food industry. And a lot of customers, a lot of businesses out there don't really know how best their products are and how best they fit into the food industry and all the changes that are happening around food safety, hygiene, consequence of error, etc. So we see that there's more and more challenges to the food industry, and I'm happy to be part of this this organisation, and I hope that I can contribute and at the same time equally learn from all of you.
You will. Excellent. Thanks very much for that, Bill. And team, you can already see how much depth we've got to go. I know we're going short and sharp at the moment. This is sort of phase one, or scratching the surface of what will come. Bill, thank you for your contribution there. Let's hear from Brian.
Hi all, my name's Brian Garcia. I'm State Manager for Moffat in Perth, Western Australia, so I look after the West Australian market. I've been working for Moffat for 15 years now. Some of you may or may not know of me because we're a bit hidden in Western Australia. People forget us over here, but yeah, but
another
lots
country.
of experience. Hey,
It's another country.
It is another country. That's true, but lots of experience in obviously mining sector. And a lot of those kind of larger, unique, remote sort of sites. So obviously I can offer some expertise to the consultants around the table about some of the complexities we have with that. So I think that I could add that to you guys if you need to. But I think from my point of view is sometimes location needs to be considered. So just the norm is not always the best way to go, which I'm sure some people have had those issues over time when they're designing and specifying in specific regions. So, yeah.
Great. Brian, thanks very much. And we don't forget WA. We love WA. Maybe Brendan, if that's okay. I can see you're in the office there, Brendan, but if you're okay to jump off and just give us 60 seconds of your finest.
Don't know about that.
Hi.
You're on mute, mate.
You're on mute, mate.
All right. Can you hear me there?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Right. I know I mentioned there, I'm having a look, I wrote on-site consulting. Look, historically, we started off in the business of butchery fit outs. And so we've had a lot of experience over the years working with wholesale butcheries. We were representing companies like Thompson Meat Machinery in New South Wales, and that developed into the food service sector. So I've been very much involved over my lifetime in different processing plants and commercial kitchens. That is, I would say that when I say on-site consulting, I'd say it's actually the reverse. Anything that I've learnt from my customers. I've learnt a lot from my mistakes over the years, I'm sorry to say. A lot of you on this screen know me well. And I'd love to help anyone that needs help so that they don't go through the same mistakes that I've gone through. But over the 25 years, personally involved, we have learned a lot in that particular space in food processing, aged care, and butchery.
Awesome.
That's me.
Brendan, thank you very much there. Charlton, I appreciate you being patient. Let's hear from you.
Yeah, okay, thanks a lot. So I'm not sure if this was ironically that you put me next to Brendan, and I've just noticed he's in Minto. I'm actually in Campbelltown, so we're practically neighbours.
Nice. We did that.
Probably look out the window and see you right now. So yeah, I'm obviously quite new to Scope. I joined Scope in August, right there. G'day, Brendan. Right in the thick of COVID. So I was actually just having a conversation with Kerry today that we've actually not physically met each other in the flesh since I've started with the company. So that's been interesting, and talking with Larry today, haven't had a chance to leave New South Wales. So my role at Scope, I'm technical manager of project sales. So that's kind of what I look after. I'm learning a lot about the project space. It's not really my background. My background was in volume sales, where I was national sales manager of Nisbet's catering equipment. Started out with those guys pretty much from day dot, and left there 2 weeks before COVID started, and took a little bit of a career gap before starting with Scope. So that's my background. And just a fun fact, I know we're meant to do fun facts. That photo, thanks for getting that from my LinkedIn, that was actually from my wedding day. And you can't actually tell, but in that photo, I'm actually sitting in an outdoor dunny, which was one of the props from the wedding. So there you go, that's me.
Awesome, great, thanks very much for that, Charlton.
Now we've got a face to a name and the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes,
absolutely.
that's right.
All
Just
right.
last year.
So let's roll on to our next there. We've got Cho.
Hi everyone. Can
Hi,
can you
Joe.
hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm very new to the group here. So my company we deal in commercial warewashing. But I just wanted to share about the having the opportunity to meet you guys and to Ben. I'm the other Singaporean in this group as well. So not only all from Australia, but
Yeah, very good, very good.
yeah.
See.
Yeah, so I think it's good that we have this platform that I can meet you guys. I mean, if not for COVID, maybe I wouldn't get to meet you guys, and I think there's a lot to pick up from you guys. But also, I think I hope to have more faces from Asia that we could bring more knowledge to the group as well. So I think as in COVID made the world a lot smaller, I think we can do business from Asia to Australia and Australia to Asia. So yeah.
Definitely.
Great point there, Cho. It is making the world a lot smaller, and thanks very much for your sharings there. I know we had Francis on before, but I don't think he's with us now. Perhaps we'll move to Greg. I can't see you, Greg, there, but you're on mute, but we can circle back. That's okay. No, that's all right. And what's still got with us there? Larry.
Yeah, mate. Probably the thing that lights me up the most is seeing my customers financially and emotionally successful in their business. There's nothing better than being 4 or 5 years after you've finished a project and you walk in and they greet you as a long lost friend. And I think that's what it's all about for me, making my clients glad that they come across me. It's a big thing. That's led us to develop things like some of the development of software that we've put together to help these people make informed decisions about their business. And it's really been very, very emotionally beneficial for myself.
Great point, Larry. Trying to leave people better than you found them, and by imparting your expertise. I love that.
It's a big buzz. It's a big buzz. It really is.
Absolutely.
It makes it all worthwhile.
Yeah, a very human point in it. Team, I'll just keep us moving because I'm conscious of our time. On the next slide there, I think we're going to hear from Mildred and followed by Mario, if that's okay.
Go for it, Mildred.
Where are you, Mildred?
Here in the Philippines, but been living in Singapore the other year. Just came back when the COVID comes in. So it's a bad thing that everyone experience same scenario that we having in our business. But then at least we are all moving. My experience in consultancy is as shown there, 24. In Singapore, been there for 12 years. So half of that experience is gained in Singapore. So now I am partnering with Mr. Ben Ho, which is now in Singapore, that we're doing Asian project. So I had an experience doing Hong Kong and also in Australia, and had an experience also doing in India.
Yeah, wow. So much to draw on in a beautiful range of Asian countries there, Mildred. Thank you for sharing that with us, and thanks for your smile there. Mario, something that lights you up, something that gets you fired up.
Thank you. Thank you. First of all, what gets me fired up from this session is to see that our growing numbers from Singapore and Philippines and all, and we want to encourage that. After all, we are the Asia Pacific division, so which is good to see. Fantastic, including Bill as well. Yeah. So what fires me up is very interesting. Again, thanks to COVID, like a business, and especially being a business owner, is a big part of your life. And COVID has taught me, and actually it was through one of my FCSI friends, Clara, that I got introduced to Tai Chi. And I just taken that up 3 months ago. And I tell you what, it's one of the best things. I look forward to the beginning of the week. I got it twice a week and absolutely loving it, physically, mentally. meet some great people, get a chance to do some good exercise, feel good. And also what fires me up is I love optimistic people. And I've got my brother-in-law who's in New York, who's a doctor there. He got the COVID, he recovered from it. And then two months later, he got bowel cancer. And now he's just finishing his chemotherapy and he's doing okay. And yesterday he sent me an invite and asked me whether I want to go on a cruise next year to Europe. So they're already booking cruises for next year. So
Wow.
this is what the human resilience and the human optimism about life, that we live each day at a time. What's behind us, we learn from, and we just move forward. So yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Mario. Let's roll on there. Tim, please.
Oh, I'm not. Oh, there. Am I there?
Next.
You don't have a
slide,
photo. That's good.
You're on. Yeah.
Okay. Yes, 50 plus. What gets me is actually sharing, is writing about things that interest me, that might interest everybody in the industry. It's testing the boundaries of thought. It's challenging people's ideas. And I am involved in running a community art gallery, which fills up the rest of my time. So I enjoyed reading, I write, and I now write poetry. So as a sort of a counterbalance to writing technical articles. And I think really it's all about sharing. I've loved teaching all my life. Recent 20 years of my life, I've enjoyed giving seminars, masterclasses, workshops in Singapore and Hong Kong and Australia, variously, because I just enjoy sharing experiences and telling stories about our industry and how that informs our day-to-day experience. That's about it. Yeah.
Wow.
It's all about stories.
That's about it. That's amazing. I'd imagine you'd be a great storyteller, Tim. Thank you very much for that. And with our last slide, and I really appreciate everyone's patience here, we've got a quick whip around with 4 of our dream team. So Wasco, we'll start off with you.
Well, what occupies me most at the moment is 4 grandsons under the age of 4. And so the rest of my life actually fits around them. Before anybody asks me to do anything, I've actually got to look at the calendar to see what my commitments are. But no, I think I've been in the food service industry for just on 40 years and an architect before that for a little over 10 years. I really enjoy planning. Planning is the thing that gives me the biggest buzz. I'm still a yellow butter paper and felt pen person. And I really do like trying to fit what people say can't be fitted into spaces and still make them work. So I'm very happy to share my experience with anybody. And if anybody does have a problem, you know, they can send me a sketch or ring me up and talk to me, and I'd be more than happy to give them any assistance they need.
Very generous, Wasco. Thank you very much for that. Courtney, if we can hear from you.
Hi, everybody. So I put 2 years experience because that's how long I've been in consulting for, almost. Previous to that, I was a chef, like yourself, Glenn. And yeah, just happily fell into this realm, which I'm really, really grateful for, and love learning everything every day. And this forum's been really great. So thanks for the invite. Yeah, so I can meet all these wonderful people and suck their brains and get all their knowledge and yeah, and move forward into the future.
Perfect. Another chef in the mix. That's great. We'll talk some food. That's brilliant. Thank you for that. Wayne, I'm going to come back to you just to wrap us out, but we might hear from Joel first.
Okay, so I so I read that form wrong. I do not have experience in high-end kitchens. I'm very fresh. I thought that was like what you're interested in, and that was sort of the projects I'm interested in. No, so my language is programs. They speak so easy to me. So my background is architecture. Actually just about to start my master's in a couple of weeks, actually. So I guess for me, it's at that stage, it's been a sponge to the industry and just learning under Julian and Andrew. Yeah, all the tips, and then applying that to, from my experience with the software being 3D, and how we can sort of take the commercial kitchen industry and moving it forward into 3D, whether that's streamlined systems or even just collaborating. So that's sort of where my interest and yeah, where I'm at.
Fantastic. Thanks, Joel, and good luck kicking off your masters, mate. Well done.
Cheers.
Good times ahead. Save the best till last. Mr. Vols, let's hear from it, Wayne.
Thank you, mate. Yeah. There's a number of things that inspire me, but I'm a simple pastry chef who his first restaurant job was hired by a bloke called Larry Anderson in Brisbane. I like to, as I say, educate, change. I'm very lucky to have a very innovative company, and I don't know how many of you know, my oldest son joined us at 21. At 30, he's the director of sales in the US now, and he'll be back in 6 months. My youngest son has just joined us, and the company will be shipping him off somewhere in the world. We have no idea yet, but what I really enjoy is mentoring them, because if I mentor them, I should be able to enjoy a nice, healthy retirement thanks to them.
Earlier.
The long game. But yes, just watching them grow and develop in the way that I believe in business principles is something that excites me.
Awesome.
Well done.
Thanks, Wayne. Thanks for sharing that. Team, as you can see, that's scratching the surface of a great amount of knowledge. And I know that we had other members that needed to jump off and leave, but we've got some photos there. We've heard, we've contributed. So we're starting to connect ourselves up as a professional organization, I think, which is going to prove a lot of dividends moving forward. Mario, I might just hand back over to you then, just to tidy us down and wrap us out from this session.
Thank you so much, Glenn, and thank you to everyone who contributed and took part in this excellent webinar. And as I put that little saying there from Napoleon Hill, to say that it's literally true that you can succeed best and quickest by helping others to succeed. And I think that crystallizes what we were just discussing for the last hour and a bit. And if I may, since you lucky 20 will be the first to hear this, it will be out in the, you'll get some information in the next couple of weeks, but just want to let you know of two great new initiatives FCSI APD are embarking on. The first one is one of these things I've looked at. The Americas do it really well. They have a project showcase of all the professional members projects for the year. And I've been thinking about it last year, and I finally now going to make it happen with the assistance of Progressive Content in London. They're going to help us facilitate it, and we're going to have it for the first time in the APD. So all the professional members will be invited to submit projects if they want to, and there'll be criteria for the selection. And we will be having 3 independent judges at the end of the year, or around Fine Foods time, to judge and pick 3. It's not about 3, everybody will be winner, everyone contributing towards it, but that'll be the first time we'll have a member project showcase. And again, I think it's about sharing what you're proud of, what you've done, and from others learning from it, and you would learn from all the others as well. So that's the first thing for the professional members. And for the allied members, at this stage, FHA in Singapore have said already they're not going to go ahead, but Fine Foods in Sydney and also Tim Collette is still planning his stuff in June. They're still planning to go ahead. May or may not happen. So for our allied members, Andrew and myself, we've been thinking about this, and we are looking at giving them an opportunity, because a lot of them are finding it invaluable now, these sort of sessions, instead of Wayne going around the country, or Greg or Comcata going around the country, putting out a new product, or even Scope, you could use this webinar as an opportunity to pitch to consultants, and that would be a separate series that we'll look at and put some criteria around that, and so that allied members can have the opportunity to reach out to all the consultant members, and others also are welcome to join. And
Can I just expand on that, Mario?
New technology, yes.
Just expand, Mario, that we've got 2 in the pipeline.
We've already got 2 in the pipeline. Very good. I tell you what, Andrew's an absolute gun on the board. He's, I'm very fortunate, and he's really proactive, and well done, Andrew. So you can see they've already got 2 there, and we welcome more. And as you said, the more we share, the more we grow, the more we help each other, the faster we succeed. And yeah, it makes it all worthwhile. And I just want to end up by saying thank you very much to Glenn. I tell you what, before you came on board, Matt, we were just nerdies and technical stuff and drawing and everything else. But you brought this other element to our association, and that's the human element, which is so important. It cuts across both our professional and personal development. So thank you, Glenn, for that. Really appreciate it, and look forward to our next one, which will be on Inspire. Yes, so we share, support, and inspire. So the next one will be Inspire in 3 months' time. Yeah.
Great.
Thanks, Chris.
Very good. Team, thank you for joining in. I think just the last little wrap down there on the next slide there, Grace. Expect a Survey Monkey from us almost instantaneously. Whilst it's fresh in your mind, it really helps just to jot a few notes in as you feel, to allow us to develop these meetings in better support and service of you. Have a fantastic weekend wherever you are and whatever you're doing, and stay safe.
Thank you.
Going to
Thank
breakfast.
Thank you everyone for participating.
Excellent.
Thanks for
Thank
joining.
you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.